everyone, welcome back to the GCSE Tutoring YouTube channel. You've got Lucy teaching you today and we're going to be learning about long multiplication. We've just posted a video about long division, so if that's something that interests you as well, go over and have a look at that after this video. This is a topic that's going to be useful for your 11 plus, but it's something that goes all the way through maths as well, so if you're a GCSE student, please do keep watching. We're going to start by thinking about the format of how we do a multiplication question. So with our example 25 multiplied by 3, the way we do long multiplication is by stacking the numbers on top of each other. So we're going to take our 25 and we're going to stack it on top of our 3 and always leave plenty of room for solving. 25 on top of our 3. And notice how I've lined up those digits really carefully so that both the units are on top of each other. Okay, then we're going to put a little multiplication symbol and a line underneath, and then under here is where we're going to solve it. So let's have a go at solving it. We're going to do 25 stacked on top of our 3, our multiplication and our line, and we've got to solve it now. So let's have a look at how we do it. We're going to multiply each number by each number. So we start at this end and we do our 3 times 5 first. So hopefully we know 3 times 5 is 15, but this is a 2-digit number. When we get a 2 or more digit number, we only want the last digit. So we put our 5 down here, our last digit, and the digits before that get carried over. So we're just going to carry a 1 over. I'm going to write it down here so we don't forget about it, but we're not going to count it as part of our number. Okay, so then we go on to our next bit, which is 3 times 2, because we have to multiply everything by everything. So 3 times 2 is 6, and then we carried a 1, didn't we? So we've got to add that 1 back in to our 6 to make 7. So 25 times by 3 equals 75. Okay, fairly straightforward. Let's have a little bit of a look at a more tricky question. Here we've got 200s. We've got 561 times by 422. So again, let's stack them on top of each other and we're going to leave plenty of room still. So 561 times by 422. Again, lining up those units, those tens and those hundreds. Be careful of doing that. We're going to put in our little multiplication and we're going to draw a line underneath. Okay, let's start by doing our 2 times everything first, and remember we're going to go from right to left. So we're going to have 2 times 1 is 2, isn't it? 2 times 6 is 12. So again, it's a 2-digit number. We take our second digit and we carry the 1, so just put it down here so you don't forget about it. And then 2 times 5 is 10, isn't it? But we carried a 1, so it should actually be 11. Now this is a 2-digit number, but because it comes at the start, it's okay to just put the full 11 down. Then we're going to draw a line underneath that 1 to show that we're moving on to the next 2 in our bottom number. So now we're going to do this 2 times by the 1, the 6 and the 5. But because we're starting off 1 digit in, we need to put a 0 before it. So our first digit there is going to be a 0. And then we can start our calculation. So 2 times 1 first is 2. 2 times 6 is 12. So again, we're going to put our 2 and we're going to carry the 1 for the next digit. And 2 times 5 is 10, isn't it? Again, we carried the 1. So we need to make that 11, and again, because it's at the beginning of our number, we can put the whole 11 down. Now just notice how I've kept those digits all lined up nicely. That's really going to help us to figure out what goes with what. Okay, now let's draw a line underneath because we've got a third digit to do, haven't we? We're going to do our 4 times our 1, our 4 times our 6, and our 4 times our 5, and then we know we've done everything times everything. Now, just like last time, we're starting 2 digits in this time to get to the 4, so we're going to have to put 2 zeros before we even start doing our calculation. And then we're going to do our 4 times our 1 first. Remember, we go right to left. So 4 times 1 is just 4. 4 times 6 is what? should be 24. Again, it's a 2-digit number, so we're going to keep our 4 and carry our 2 down here. And just be careful that you don't mistake that number that you've carried for a digit in your calculation. That's why we write it smaller, so we can tell the difference. And then last one is our 4 times our 5, which is 20, isn't it? But remember, we also carried a 2, so 20 plus the 2 that we carried makes 22, like this. Okay, the final step, draw a line underneath that one. Now we've got these 3 lines of calculations that we need to add up. So we do the sum of all 3 of those lines. And again, when we're doing long addition, we start from the right and work our way to the left. So we're going to start in this column here. We've got a 2, a 0 and a 0, so that adds up to make 2. And then the next column, we've got a 2 and a 0. Make sure you're not including this because that was what we did a minute ago. We don't want to include that. So a 2, 2 and a 0 makes a 4. A 1, 2 and a 4 in the next column makes 7. A 1, 1 and a 4 in the next column makes 6. A 1 and a 2 in the next column makes 3, and a 2 in the next column makes 2. So that's why it's really important to make sure we're lining those columns up nicely, so we can make sure when we're adding up that we're not going all skew-whiff in our columns. So our answer then to 561 times by 422 is what we've got at the bottom. 2, 3, 6, 7, 4, 2. 236,742. So now we can multiply really big numbers. Let's try and go even bigger, and this time we're going to have a different number of digits in the top and the bottom. We're going to have 1000's number and 100's number. Let's see how that changes things. So again, we're going to start out exactly the same by stacking our numbers up. We're going to have our 2, 7, 5, 1 on top of our 4, 1, 3. Like I keep saying, we're going to line up those digits, put in our multiplication, and we're going to draw a line underneath. Then we can solve it. So we're going to start with our first number on the bottom, the furthest right, which is our 3, isn't it? So we're going to do 3 times 1, then 3 times 5, then 3 times 7, then 3 times 2. Okay, so 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 5 is 15, isn't it? So we're going to put our 5 and carry our 1 to the next number. 3 times 7 should be 21. Add that 1 that we carried makes 22. So we put the second 2 and carry the first 2. And then 3 times 2, our last one, is 6, isn't it? But we carried a 2. So 6 plus 2 should make 8. Okay, so we should have 8253. Now we've done that first digit, we're going to draw a line under it and go on to the next digit, which is 1 on the bottom. So we're going to do 1 times 1, 1 times 5, 1 times 7, and 1 times 2. Okay, remember we're starting 1 digit in, so we're going to put a 0. Don't forget about those zeros, that could mess up your answer. Now 1 times 1 is just 1. 1 times 5 is 5. It's nice and easy when it's a 1, isn't it? 1 times 7 is 7, and 1 times 2 is 2. So we can draw a line under that one and go on to the next one, which is going to be our 4. So 4 times 1, 4 times 5, 4 times 7, and 4 times 2. So we're starting 2 digits in, we need 2 zeros, and then 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 5 should be 20. So we're going to put our 0 and we're going to carry our 2 to the next digit. 4 times 7 is how many? Should be 28, and we've carried a 2. So if we add together our 28 and our 2, we should get 30. So again, we're going to put a 0. We're going to carry the 3. I'm running out of space a little bit. And our 4 times our 2 is 8, isn't it? Plus the 3 that we carried makes 11. Again, because that 11 goes at the beginning, we can put the full 11. But still make sure to keep those digits separated so we can add them up properly later. Then we're going to do a long addition, add those all together. Remember, we're not looking at anything above this line. Okay, so column by column, we're going to start at the right. 3 plus 0 plus 0 is 3. 5 plus 1 plus 0 is 6. 2 plus 5 plus 4 should be 11. So again, we can put our second one, we carry the first digit, since it's a 2-digit number. Then 8 plus 7 plus 0 plus the one that we carried as well, don't forget that one, makes 16, doesn't it? So we put our 6, carry our 1. 2 plus 0 plus the one that we carried. So don't worry about these carried numbers, they were from before, we only want the ones at the bottom. So 2 plus 0 plus 1 makes 3, and then the 1 and the 1 are on their own, aren't they? So our answer, the really big number, is 1,136,163. So in other words, that's 1,136,163. That's a huge number to multiply, so you've done really well. Okay, hope that helped.